like she hit a dead end where she didn't know what she was striving for because she felt like she hit the top. That was one of her obsessions. She had some problems with that. That caused a lot of, you know, it caused a lot of distress. And then next I'm going to talk about the diagnosis and diagnosis criteria. Carolyn's diagnosis was basically based on her symptoms. While seeking help, Carolyn, she went to 5 different therapists. She eventually stopped going to them because she felt like it wasn't helping, or she didn't like the treatment or the therapist, the way they acted with her relationship with them. One therapist did run an MRI, and he talked to her a little bit to get a basic understanding of her, but it really didn't show anything. Mainly her diagnosis came through her conversations and then her history, or telling stories to the therapist where he understood where she was coming from. She had one therapist that she liked. He was an MD psychiatrist, and he's the one that diagnosed her with anxiety, depression, and obsessive compulsive areas. Those are the distorted areas that she had. And the DSM-4 says that these 3 symptoms are they're major ones that fall under the borderline personality disorder. Because the major symptoms of the DSM-4 states the major symptoms of borderline personality are unstable relationships, poor and negative sense of self, inconsistent moods, and impulsivity. And Carolyn seemed to experience all these problems. The DSM-4 also states that it happens more in females than men, and it usually occurs in adolescence to early adulthood, which Carolyn both fulfilled. And it says that victims usually like to self-harm themselves, and they might attempt suicide. And Carolyn did, she had both of those characteristics involved too. So the diagnosis, basically matches up with Carolyn. The next is I'm going to talk about is the treatment, and then her treatment and the typical treatment. There are many treatments. One treatment is psychotherapy, and it's just psychotherapy has shown some improvement over the years, but it's kind of been winding down. There's been new research to prove other therapies, more effective. Relational psychoanalytical therapy, that is it's an approach that helps the client explore their unconscious thoughts and pay attention to their signs of negative sense of self, relational disturbances, and emptiness. And this has shown much effectiveness. There's been some research and evidence that has proven that some psychodynamic therapies can reduce the suicide attempts and self-mutilation acts, and that runs with the relational psychoanalytical therapy. The next is dialectical behavioral therapy, and it's a new type of therapy that's been getting a lot of research. It's been getting more research than any other therapy for this disorder, and it helps clients find a way to tolerate their distress, learn new social skills, and respond productively to life situations. And it has proved that showed signs of less suicide, less anger, improved social skills, and improved work performance, which is great. The next therapy or treatment is drugs. They use antidepressant, antibipolar, anti-anxiety, and antipsychotic drugs. They usually cure aggressive and emotional outbursts, but one problem with them is that people either don't take their dosages or forget or stop taking them. And the last form of treatment is insight-orientated therapy, and it is a cognitive behavioral approach where the individual and therapist will observe the patient's thoughts and actions. The patient and therapist will then discuss the plan, and they will help the patient set up a plan to reduce the negative behaviors that they portrayed. And Carolyn's treatment was basically just antidepressant drugs, which helped with the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And the antidepressant they gave her was Paxil. And she received this from the therapist that she preferred, the MD psychiatrist. And she at first said, "I'm not depressed," but they explained to her that it helps with anxiety and obsessive thoughts. And she started off with tiny dosages, and she could feel the improvements as she went along. And the prognosis of my case and typical prognosis, the typical prognosis is it's usually difficult to diagnose a patient, and there's a lot of effort and work put in for just slight improvements to be seen, and the number of symptoms and intensity of the disorder can be reduced over time, and it's a long-term process. Carolyn's prognosis was extremely great. She's seen improvements immediately or sooner than expected. She was put on the antidepressant drug Paxil, which helped with the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. She starts to feel anxiety and negative feelings go away, which is great. She continues her antidepressant until she wants to get pregnant, and she stops for a while just to get she doesn't want the drug to affect her kid, but she ends up having the kid. Great improvement. I believe that this is a sign that's showing her that she's learning to get on with her borderline personality disorder and forget and start to live the life that she actually wanted and should have lived the whole time. And that is the end of my research and my presentation, and I want to just thank you for having me this year, and have a great summer for the end, and thank you so much.